Hello, and welcome to the Grumpy Gobbler channel. My name is Noah, and in today's video, I do a walk around of my 2016 Toyota 4Runner Trail Edition Premium Think. Yeah, TEP. Yeah, Trail Edition Premium. Anyways, I'm going to walk around it, tell you what I like, what I don't like, and all the stuff that I've done to it. And there's a lot. Anyways, if you're still here, thanks for coming along. Okay, this is my 2016 Toyota 4Runner. This is the Trail Edition Premium. And first I'll kind of just walk around and tell you about how I got not how I got it, but the 4Runner in its stock form, and maybe why I got it, and or why I picked the 4Runner, and excuse me, what I like about it and what I don't like about it. So first of all, like I said, 2016 4Runner TEP or Trail Edition Premium. And let me first say why I got the Premium. And I got the Premium because of heated seats. I didn't really care too much about the sunroof, although I liked it at the time. Now with the roof rack, doesn't matter. But I didn't mind the cloth seats, but they weren't heated. So that is the whole reason I got the Premium, is heated seats. So may sound ridiculous, but I'm in Colorado and I love heated seats, and once you have them, can't really go back. I picked the 4Runner because I was driving Silverados. I had, I think, 3 Silverados in a row, Chevy Silverados. And in Colorado, some of the trails are narrow, and I wanted something smaller to easier fit on the trails. And I know 4Runners are extremely capable, and so I knew I wouldn't have a problem. I didn't want to get a Jeep. I wanted the reliability and resale value of the 4Runner. And I knew if I bought a Jeep, I'd spend $1 bazillion in kitting it out, even though I've spent $1 bazillion in kitting this out. Anyways, so let me see. Let me think if there's something else I can really talk about the 4Runner in its stock form. This has, because it's a Trail Edition, it has all the off-road options here and a rear locker. That's why I got the Trail Edition. And I do like those. Although I don't really use that stuff. I use the rear locker from time to time, but I don't tend to use anything else. I don't use crawl control or any of the other things. I have, just to play around with it, but, and excuse the 4Runner is really filthy, but that's typically how it is for me because I don't clean this thing a whole bunch. Actually, I shouldn't have closed that door. One of the things I don't like about it, and probably the only thing I don't like about it, is they use really cheap plastics that really scratch easy. This center console, I know it's dirty, but it scuffs really easy. And so you have to be careful with it. I don't really care because I knew I was going to kind of beat this thing up. But the plastic in the back, like on the sides over here, back here, this scuffs really easy. I mean, I had it scuffed within a week of having it. So that's one of the things probably the only thing I really don't like. Well, okay, one more thing. The elephant in the room is these things are extremely underpowered. I wish I had a supercharger on it, but I don't. That would be nice. It goes okay, but certainly more power would be very, very nice. That's the basics of the 4Runner, but I'm sure people aren't watching this video about the 4Runner. Everybody knows about this 4Runner. It's been around for ages. So I will go through my modifications. I'll start at the front and kind of work my way somewhat to the back. We'll see if I can kind of do this in order. I'm just kind of winging this, so this may be kind of random and kind of a mess, but whatever. I don't really care. So starting at the front, I have this bumper is from actually Warn. There's quite a few companies that make these, I don't know what you call them, semi-hidden bumpers. And I really just wanted a mount, winch mount. I didn't really want to do a full bumper because I like the look of the front end of the 4Runner. So I didn't really want to do a full bumper because I think that messes with the look. To me, that's a personal choice. Although I do see some that have been done right that look okay. So I just wanted the semi-hidden, and there's a big lead time for most of the ones I was looking at, and I found a company that actually had these Warn ones in stock. And so I ordered this one, and it was inexpensive compared to some of the other ones that were near $1,000 after powder coating and all that stuff. And this was only, I think, like 520 bucks. So cheap. And when I got this, I also got the Warn Xenon 10S winch. I certainly wanted S because I wanted the synthetic line. I didn't want to deal with steel. And so that's been in there. And it was easy to install. It was a little intimidating to cut the front end of this thing because I did it. I don't know how long I had this before I did that, but it wasn't too long. And then I'm cutting my brand new bumper. But it went okay. It was easy to install. Let me think. Anything I can say about the bumper? I have used it. There's scuffs all over this thing. So I'm glad I have it because this would have done quite a bit of damage if it was just had the stock front end on it. So that's that. Underneath the 4Runner, I have RCI skids. I have full aluminum skids, so I have engine and transfer case and all that stuff. Full aluminum going back, except the gas tank. The gas tank I decided to do steel because the stock steel skid plate that I had on here, I had already dented the crap out of that thing. And so I knew it was going to take hits, so I wanted steel on that because I knew it'd be more durable. I already have, and shortly after I got the skid plates, you can see that dent right there. I did that shortly after I got it. And so I'm glad I have skids, and it's been fine. You can see I definitely used this thing. You can see scuffs on there. So definitely glad I have skid plates. You may notice down there that by looking at my suspension, I do have KDSS. I thought that was really cool to have. I like the idea of it, and it does function really well. This thing handles really well on the road, and off-road, it does okay. It's not a Jeep. It's never going to be a Jeep with a solid front end, but it serves me fine. So that's the RCI skids. At the same time, or near the same time, I got RCI rock rails, whatever you want to call them. For some reason, the name of those things is escaping me. Sliders. That's the word I was looking for. Sliders. RCI sliders. I got the angled ones, and it's funny. Some people walk up to me, they're unfamiliar with these, go, man, your slider's really bent because it's angled up at, I think it was 5 degrees. And I like that better because it looks a little cleaner than a skid sticking way out. And it certainly serves its purpose. I don't have many trail marks on these, but I have hit them and they've worked perfectly. All right, so that's all my RCI stuff. Next, I'll talk about the lighting. I have, they're all Baja designs. All my lights are Baja designs. I like Baja design lights. I don't like their connectors. They're kind of cheap, but they work. The lights themselves I really like. These are XL80s, and I did have some Squadron Pros on the front. These just put out more light, so I'm much happier with these. I have Squadron, these are sports for the fog lights, and that's just a kit you can get from, I think it's actually Baja Designs, and it's just plug and play. I actually don't have those connected to the factory fog light switch because I wanted to turn them on independently of the headlights. The regular fog lights on these, you have to have the headlights on to turn the fog lights on, and I didn't like that. I also wanted to be able to control these and turn them into flashing or strobe. And so, excuse me, a car is going to be coming by, and I may have to pause this. Figures I tried to pick a street that wasn't too busy, but figures somebody comes. Nobody's been on this road all day until now. I'm right down the street from my house. My house is right up there. So anyways, that's why I went with separating these and just wiring them directly into my S-Pod, which I'll get to in a bit. These are Squadron Sports for my ditch lights, and you can see they're amber, just like the fogs. And this helps in snow. And I was going to put lights up there, but I decided not to, especially with a white hood. I could cover the hood and make the reflection not bad with lights up at the top. But I noticed when I put these on, if I had them pointing forward, there was so much reflection off the hood, it was annoying. And so that's why I haven't put lights up there. And these function perfectly for me, the combination of everything. I don't really have a need for more lights, even though I think it looks cool. Excuse me as I burp. And on the back, let me close my hatch. On the back, I have Squadron Pros, and I have a clear lens and an amber lens, and I have these switched separately, so I can turn these on independently. So depending on what my needs are, I can just turn on the amber if it's snowing outside, and the clear if I just need a lot more light. And these work great up here. I also have the white I can turn on as a strobe, and the amber I can turn on as a flasher. And that has come in handy. I came upon an accident on a dark road out in Moab once, and it was right around a corner, and I was afraid people were going to come around a corner, and this truck was in the middle of the road. And so I turned on my lights, and so I was very well seen, and nobody was going to kill me. Going back to the front, and if you've watched some of my other camping videos, you may have seen I have a water port, 3.8 gallon water container. This is the mount for that, and I just have it connected to the bull bar. It was a perfect place for it. The water tank is very easy to use when I camp. And so I get a lot of questions when people see this thing, and when they don't see the water tank on there, they go, what the heck is this thing? And that's what it is. And the water port just slides right on. I have a little lock I put on there, and it's perfect. Perfect for camping because it's at a right height. It's not like they have mounts to mount it on the roof rack. But it's much better right there. So I guess that's kind of the front. I'll get under the hood in a little bit if I remember. There's really only one thing to show under the hood. The suspension lift I have is a 3-inch Old Man Emu or OME, and it's just their inexpensive lift with nitro charger shocks. So the shocks are kind of cheap, although they've lasted. This lift is probably over 4.5, 5 years old, and I haven't had a problem, and the shocks are still fine. They look ugly. There's a lot of rust pitting on them, but they work fine. So the 3-inch lift, I also put the heaviest springs on because I knew I was going to put a lot of weight on this. So I have the heaviest springs on the front and the back, but I still had it was still drooped down in the front a little bit. So I actually put a little bit of a spacer, a 1/4-inch spacer in the front as well, just to lift up the front end. There is a lot of weight between the winch and the bumper on the front end. and that kind of leveled it out a bit, more to my liking, because I don't like the nose down look. So that made it look more even, I guess. For wheels and tires, oh, one more thing on the left, I did get SPC upper control arms to allow for better alignment. For the wheels and tires, I have Method, I think they're NV305s. I can't remember the model of those Method wheels. I had some other cheap wheels that I got at Discount Tire, and those were okay, but these little fake wheel locks or tire lock bead locks, the bolts stuck out really far, and I just kept on knocking off bolts. So there was a lot of bolts missing on the wheels on my old ones. And so I got these because these bolts are kind of buried a little bit in here, more flush. For tires, I have 285 7017 Wild Peak, Falcon Wild Peak AT3s. And these have been fantastic. I had KO2s, I ran KO2s for a long time, and those were fine, but I just like these better. These seem, for me, to handle better in the snow. Obviously, I'm in Colorado, it gets cold, it gets icy here, and these just seem to work a little bit better for me. So to fit these tires, remember I'm winging this, so you have to be patient. To fit these tires, I did have to do some trimming. So I had to do some trimming on my bumper over here, and I pushed this liner in and bolted it in. So this is trimmed. I had to do a little bit of trimming back here on the liner, and I also have the body chop mount, or body mount chop. I had that done on here to give me more clearance, because I did have some rubbing at the beginning. These wheels are, I think, 0 offset, and I did have some rubbing, but half of the body mount chop, or body chop mount, whatever that thing's called, I still get rub if I'm fully compressed at the front and I have full lock. I still get a little bit of rub, but it's very, very minor. Let me think if I can think of anything more underneath the vehicle. I think that's it. Real quick before I go up on the vehicle, let me open the hood. Obviously, you can see I have a Genesis dual battery kit, and I did this because I kept on killing batteries for some reason. I couldn't find. I think I had a parasitic leak, or whatever you call it, when you're losing some power through, or parasitic draw. That's what it is. And so I kept on killing batteries. And this thing I liked. For one thing, if I kill one battery, I can press this button and it essentially is a jump start for my vehicle. So I never have to worry about my vehicle being dead. There's my S-Pod Bantam, which I'll talk more about when I get on the inside. Those are the only modifications under here. I don't have a cold air intake, nothing. I've only done this. I also got the Genesis dual battery kit because I was thinking I was going to run a fridge off the accessory battery, but turns out I didn't do that, and I'll get more to that when I get around the back. You can see I do have a ham radio installed, so I do have the ham radio antenna. I have a CB in there as well. I barely use it, but I do have the CB antenna there. All right, getting to the roof. Actually, I'm going to pause this video because I have a neighbor coming up, and so I'm going to talk to my neighbor, and then I'll come back and I'll start with the roof. All right, had a quick chat with my neighbor, and now going to the roof. Obviously, as you can probably tell, this is a Gobi roof rack, and that was a nice 9-month wait waiting for that thing after I ordered it. But I do really like it. I like the basket kind, although I do see benefits of the flat kind with different mounting options, but I kind of like having the rails on there. But certainly I do see some benefit to having a flat with the T-channel where you can mount stuff on top of it. But I do like having the side and the basket. I got the rack with the sunroof insert, even though it's I've only taken it off to actually mount these. That's the only time it's ever been off. And so initially I thought I would just leave this off and only put it on when I needed it, but that's not what happened. I have obviously my Max Trax mounted here. I have a separate video on how I mounted this, and this is a good location for it. You can see on the Gobi rack there's just enough clearance here they stick over, so you have to get mounts that are high enough to get your Max Trax to go over the side rail. And I have two of the Rome 95 liter, I think they're 95 liter storage boxes. I have, and now here's comes somebody else. I picked a street just because I thought it would be quiet. I'm gonna have to maybe do this some other location. All right, let them go by, clear the dust. Anyways, let me get back up there actually. And hopefully that's the last of the interruptions. In this storage box, I have recovery gear. I think I have recovery gear in this one. Or do I have camping gear? I have camping gear in this one. I had to think about it. I have camping gear in this one and recovery stuff in that one. And the reason I have recovery stuff in that one, because if I'm out and need recovery stuff, I'm not going to have my awning out. So I can get to it. If I'm camping and need camping stuff, I may have my awning out and I still need to be able to get to this. That's why the camping stuff is in this one and the recovery stuff is in that one. And I just have extra D-rings and other things in there, winch extension, straps, and all kinds of crap for recovery gear in that. If somebody wants to know what my recovery stuff is, leave a comment down below and maybe I'll make a separate video of that, but it's pretty just boring and standard stuff. I got these mounts from Gobi to mount an axe and my shovel, and I was going to find just a cheaper solution because these are rather expensive. These were, I think, $150, which is rather expensive, but they are lockable, which is nice, and so I don't have to worry about them up here. I need to sharpen and take care of my shovel or my axe, but it's very convenient to have the axe and the shovel up there. I do use those quite often. I did have, that's my high lift jack. I did have my high lift jack also mounted over on this side, but when I put on this box, I had to move the high lift back there. The problem with that is it does block or hinder my antenna for my XM radio. And so I do get some loss of service for that. Most of the time it's okay, but periodically I lose signal with that. Going around to this side, you can see I have a OVS 180 degree awning here. I did have a Batwing 270 degree, but I had some problems with hinges breaking on that, and I have a separate video on why I switched to this. Fits up there perfectly, and this one works perfectly. I can put it up in semi-breezy conditions, and I'm not going to break hinges. I forgot to cover two more lights. I have these Baja Designs S2 Sports down here, and these are wired separately as well. I have an amber flood and the clear flood. And those are nice when the awning's out to have a little bit light to the side. I get in my vehicle when I'm camping from the passenger side, and that's why they're both mounted on this. Let's see, what should I cover now? Let me get in the driver's seat and cover the front. It was sunny a while ago, but the clouds are rolling in. All right. Now for the inside up here. And again, excuse the filthiness. It is dirty. I guess I'll start from the left and move over to the right. This is the mount for my inReach, and I never leave home going camping without an inReach, a way to contact people in an emergency. And I just use it really to communicate with June. When I'm out camping alone, she likes to know where I am and if I'm okay. So that's mounted up there with a suction cup mount, and I do have a power cable going over to this. And this is this mounting system back here, which is a little bit hard to see, is an Expedition Essentials. What do they call it? TMP, something. Anyways, it's a mount that you bolt in to the side of the actual radio. If you can see right here, the bolts. And it's kind of a block for RAM mounts that goes along the top of the dashboard. It also, behind here, you can see it has USB ports, 2 USB ports that are wired in to the USB down here. Or to the cigarette lighter down there. And I did this because I was using RAM mounts. Like, I did use that one, and I had other RAM mounts kind of strewn about. This was just a cleaner way to do it. This, and excuse me, I know it's probably kind of dark in here. Actually, let me open the shade for the sunroof. Maybe that's a little bit more light. I leave my phone up here. This is a quad lock wireless charger. So I don't have to plug in a cable or anything. I can just charge my phone by putting it on here and locking my phone in, and then it's wirelessly charging, and I have maps and stuff on here that I use. And most of the time this is okay. I don't really need a tablet. I did have a tablet initially, but it kind of blocked a lot of this area, and I didn't really like that. I like the interface, and it's big, and I'm old and blind, so it was better to see on a bigger screen, but this is just fine. This is my S-Pod. This is obviously connected to my Bantam just through a Cat 5 cable that goes, it's the only connection that goes through the firewall, and that is one of the reasons I did that. I didn't want to wire a whole bunch of switches from inside and a whole bunch of wires going through the firewall into the engine compartment or to lights around. So I got the S-Pod, and I do have a separate video just on the S-Pod. And I got the HD screen, although I do have a little bit of regrets that I did not get the standard screen, because to turn on and off these lights, I have to look where I'm pointing. I can't really do it by feel because this is just obviously a flat screen. So there's no tactile feel. So I can't just feel around where a button is. So I have to look. I have the switches connected together for all my fronts, so I can turn all my fronts on at one time. And obviously the other lights just individually. Some of them I can dim, some of them I can flash. And so if I turn on all front and I go into off-road mode, you may be able to see that the lights are actually strobing and flashing out there. And I can do that just by clicking this off-road, on-road button once. So that's on-road, no flashing. Go to off-road, strobing or flashing, depending on how I set up that particular switch. And this is really nice up here. Very convenient. I did have it mounted up here where I goobered up this thing, and I'll have to fix that eventually, because I did have it mounted up here. But then, like I said, I had to look at it, and I had to like tilt my head back and look where the switch was. So I moved it to here. Next in here is my Yaesu XDM or XDR 400. I do have my ham radio license, and so that was a convenient place for that. I found that most of the people that I went off-roading with or camping with had their ham license as well, and so that was a good way of communicating with them, and that's a really cool radio. I do have a CB down here, and that is the mic for the CB. This is the mic for the ham. I barely ever use this thing. It's just if I happen to be out camping or off-roading with somebody that only has CB, then that comes in handy. There's the speaker for my ham radio. The ham control box is mounted under this seat and has a speaker on it, but it just wasn't loud enough. Like I said, I'm old, I'm blind, I'm deaf, so I had to put a speaker in here. That's the speaker connected to it, and now it's plenty loud. I can hear it. I do have this ram mount here, and I have this mounted here, so if it's raining and I'm camping and I don't want to lay in the back, I could sit in the seat, connect my tablet here, and watch a movie or do whatever here. So that is just kind of like a hangout section. I think, I do have a pedal commander, and this was a game changer. It made it feel like the 4Runner had more power. I know it doesn't do that. It just changes the programming for throttle position. And this was a game changer. It made the 4Runner feel a lot better. It holds gears longer when I'm going up and down the hills here in wonderful Colorado. So that thing's awesome. I highly recommend that if you have a 4Runner or a Tacoma, get the pedal commander. This thing is freaking awesome. All right. I think I'm going to pause now because my battery's dying. I'm going to switch my battery and then move on to the rest of the vehicle. Okay. Now on to the back, which is obviously I've done quite a bit back here. I do have a video on my drawer system. I've had different iterations of my drawer system. This is the latest. In fact, I don't have a video on this because I have recarpeted it and I have changed it a little bit. There's a sunken area over on the passenger side, and so this sunken area makes it easier to get in and out when I'm camping. Obviously, I sleep in here. If you've seen any of my other videos, I sleep in here. And so I get in and out on this side because that's where the awning is. In this drawer system, which I kind of designed myself, although I was just kind of winging it, I did have black carpet on here, and this carpet is a lot more durable. I have doors in here, and I just keep stuff stored under here. This is more recovery gear, the stuff that I would use most often for recovery in here. I have a jump starter. If I need to jump start somebody else's vehicle, I have a jump starter in this bag, and just miscellaneous other stuff here and this side. And I'll go over to the other side. I think if there's anything else special under here. You can see the mount for my drawer system, and this thing's really solid. I also like this sunken thing if I need to transport groceries or stuff like that. I have a place where it's just not going to slide all over the vehicle. And again, excuse the mess. This thing is used. It is not a Starbucks queen. On this side, this is a flap, so when I'm camping, I scoot up the front seat and this flap flaps over and gives me more sleeping length. In this drawer, I have a blanket, my fire extinguisher, compressor, stuff for the high lift, and a spare set of shoes. And I'm not going to go through the effort of moving the seat and putting this down. You can, if you want to see this in action, you can watch some of my other videos and you can see how this is used. I have some water in here. That's my poo bag. And if you've watched my other videos, you've seen that before. And just kind of some other miscellaneous stuff here. This is my iPad holder. This mounts to this RAM mount like so. And figures. Oh, I thought somebody was coming. So this is how I mount it and watch movies when I'm camping. That hangs in there. One of the coolest features about this thing, and the way I designed it, to me, this would not work for everybody, but this works perfectly for me. Obviously, I said earlier, I talked about a fridge. This is my fridge. It's just a cheapie from Amazon, and I'm going to try to do this one-handed. The whole fridge slides out, so I can access it when I'm cooking. You can see the guts of my drawer system there, and you can see how I just have this strapped down to these L channels that I have on both sides. I have them here too if I need to strap something down. I talked about the dual battery system and how I was going to power a fridge with it, but instead I decided to run a Jackery. So I have actually two Jackeries. I have a 500 and a 1000. Depending on how long I go, I'll put a Jackery here, strap it down to here, and plug in my fridge to the Jackery, and my Jackery is plugged into my vehicle because the power outlet over here only operates when the vehicle is running. And so as I'm driving, it's charging my Jackery, and my Jackery is running my fridge. And anyways, that's my fridge slide, which has turned out to be very functional for me. Excuse me. I'm going to try and do this one-handed. I also made it so this drawer slides out separate from that. And in here I have my stove, propane, other kind of some cooking stuff here, but more about the stove. And so I can use this for food prep when I'm making dinner, and or my version of dinner. So that's this side. This side, again, trying to do this one-handed. I'm going to put the camera down. Give me a second. Kind of the same thing. And so this is my little cooking area. Fridge, food prep, food prep. In this drawer, I have my Joe for my coffee in the morning, some bags, some food. I never go anywhere without some sort of food. My pots and pans, my mini hammer. Jeez, somebody else is coming. And let me think if there's anything else here. I don't think there's anything else here. My coffee, spoons. I can't think of anything else is in here. These are straps for my awning. I think that's about it for here. And I have the drawer lined with carpet just to keep the rattling down. And let me put this away. The slides I used for this lock in and out. And I did that so if I'm at a slope, these won't want to wander in. And so I can be parked at a slope and these will stay exactly in this position. These are 500-pound slides, so they're very, very strong. Technically, I could sit on this. I wouldn't, but technically I could because these are rated for 500 pounds. But I do like the locking in and out. Let me put this, that's my dog barking up there. slide this in. See if I can do this without knocking over the camera. So that's my drawer and sleeping system. This is perfect. Like I said, it's not for everybody because you do lose the rear seats with this setup. So I can never have more than one passenger. But I don't have more than one passenger. So it's just fine for me. And I love this drawer system. This is one of the reasons I want to keep this vehicle. Without this, you know, I get bored with vehicles and I may want to change to something else. But with this, I just don't. These, you may have noticed these reflective panels in these rear windows, and I just keep these. These are Velcroed on because they kept on falling out. These are made by WeatherTech, and there's a kit for the entire inside of the 4Runner, all windows. And they're reflective on the inside, black on the outside, so depending on what season, depends on how you put them up. And so when I'm camping and it's 0 degrees outside, I put these, all these in and put the reflective side in, and so it stays warmer in here. It's not perfectly warm, but it's warm enough for me. I also installed a remote starter. This did not come with remote start from the factory, so I had an aftermarket one by 12 Volt Solutions, and that was just kind of plug and play. It was very easy to install. And so if I get really cold in here, if it's, and I camp down to 0 degrees or negative single digits, if it gets cold in here, I can just remote start my vehicle, let it warm up. It runs for 15 minutes and shuts off. The benefit of the aftermarket remote start is the factory remote start. If you remote start your vehicle, when you open the door, it shuts the vehicle off and then you start your vehicle. The aftermarket one, it stays running. So you just get in, turn the key to the run position, and you're good to go. So sorry about all the babbling. Some of the other things in here, I obviously always carry headlamps with me. I carry 2 just in case. That little black thing up there is a tourniquet. I do have a first aid kit here that's fairly easily accessible. I contemplated moving this around, but every place that I would put this is somewhat of a compromise, but I may end up moving this. But I keep the tourniquet there because it's very quick to access it, just in case. So if somebody's bleeding really bad that you need a tourniquet, you do not want to be fumbling around for the tourniquet. So I can get to that really quickly. Let me think if there's anything else on the inside. I don't think so. If you have any questions or comments about anything that you've seen in here, maybe something I didn't cover because I probably missed some stuff, just leave it in comments below. I will respond to every question and most comments. One thing I didn't mention is I always carry a jacket with me as well. So I have a sweatshirt, rain jacket, and a Carhartt jacket here, just in case. Those always stay in. This is a little trash picker-upper thing, one of those. That's that. Let me think if there's anything else over here I can cover. Always carry paper towels, wipies. Always carry binoculars because I like looking around. Let me think if there's anything else. I don't think there's anything else. Hopefully I covered everything that I wanted to cover. I probably won't find out until I get this home and start editing. But hopefully I've covered everything. If not, I'll just have to redo it. This is my trash bag. I did have a Trasharoo on here, but it only really lasted 2 years and was just falling apart. Although this one, I don't expect to be much better because this is not even a year old. And believe it or not, this was black. When I got this, it was perfectly black, and now, obviously, it's not. I think if there's anything else. Like I said, I do use this 4Runner, and so there's scrapes, scratches. This looks really good, doesn't it? All over this thing. But I knew that going in that I was going to use this thing. I do not take it easy on my vehicles. So this thing is not perfect, but it's perfect for me. I'm just going to do another quick walk around and see if I've missed anything. Like I said, if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I do have videos about the things that I've covered, the lights, the S-Pod, my storage containers, the awning. I have separate videos on that if you want to find those videos. I just wanted to do a kind of a quick walk around of the whole vehicle because I've never done that for some reason. I know I've been kind of rambling, but like I said, I was winging this. Anyways, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. I do mostly camping videos. I don't do a lot of gear reviews, even though I probably should. But if you want to see this thing in action, check out some of my other videos. You'll see it camped in snow, rain, and sunny weather. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm out.